Hey guys, welcome to the Rent Club. I'm Adit, and the best way to describe me would be a crackhead when it comes to cars because I have the most screwed up taste in the world. And this is Nishit. He's a member of the Rent Club as well, and we've had this idea of shooting video for a while now. So Nishit, to you.
Hey Adit, hey guys, again, welcome to the Rent Club. And I am Nishit. I am a 25-year-old who is crazy about cars. And I think it's a little too unhealthy. And I get a lot of shit from my family and my friends that your obsession with cars is way too unhealthy. But I think they've made peace with it, and so did I. Like Adit mentioned, like he has a very weird taste with cars. I have my own quirks and how I pick my cars. So I think to start things off today, we had a great idea of talking about the best first car you can buy in a budget. So Adit, what are your thoughts? What would be your picks or
So
what is
yeah,
that you're looking
so
for?
I've seen this video being shot by like so many car channels over the years, and I've enjoyed them so much, like all over the world. But the issue is barely anyone in India has spoken about this, and they've never spoken about it in depth. So I think that's a really big thing we've missed out on. And recently I was looking to pick up a first car, and I had basically no petrol head guidance. It was great from like old magazine articles and presenters, but there was nothing from an enthusiast point of view. So I thought that was a great thing we could talk about. We have more than enough cars to talk about today. And another thing is we have really mixed taste since I'm more on the crazy side and I like buying money pits. And Nishit has like a more overall better car, I would say. So I think it should be interesting. And I've been looking forward to shooting this for a while now. So let's go for it.
Cool. I completely agree with the point that you mentioned because on YouTube, you either find a lot of UK YouTubers coming up with what's the best first car, or you have Doug DeMoro talking about the weirdest cars you can think about, but there's not a single
Yeah.
Indian petrol head or a journalist doing that. So let's get started. I think let's go start with something crazy. So let's go with your list, Adit. What do you suggest?
Okay. So I'm going to go with something crazy, but from my point of view, something that's actually quite chill. Like it's
Okay.
not something insane. So it's a Mitsubishi Pajero. So this is like a car which like I thought was pretty interesting because there are a lot of people who actually like the whole aspect of like having a really big car, even though according to me it makes absolutely no sense. And it makes off-roading like a proper option for you because the car's almost like factory prepped for it. You can probably take it on mud roads and like tour with it. It'll probably be like decently reliable, not too heavy on maintenance and stuff like that. And it looks baller as hell. So why not?
Dude, I definitely agree with that Pajero. And I do think it was one of the most reliable Mitsubishi cars ever made. I mean, you still see them running now after. I mean, I think this could be the stronger than time car in India, at least, if I can mention that,
For real.
not the G Wagon. But what are your thoughts about the engine though?
So I'm not, I'll be honest with you guys. SUVs are not my cup of tea. Never liked them, never will. Probably never gonna get one in my life. But it's a manual diesel, so I'm assuming it's decent on the fuel economy side of things, which is why I picked it out. And I'm guessing it's pretty talky because that's what a big SUV like this would need to go off-roading and like it looks macho. I think it's always that was like the selling point for this car. I'm pretty sure like all the celebrities back in the day had it, if I'm not wrong.
Absolutely. I think more than that, I also want to
So
mention, I think this particular car had that ladder on frame chassis, but like, it's based on that. And again, SUVs are not my
okay.
strong suit as well. We have a couple of other TRC members, but if I can mention, I think this one had a good 2800cc turbocharged diesel engine, which was more than enough to get through your good enough off-roading side. You have a lot of overlanding
Also,
vehicles based on the
yeah.
Pajero. You're
And
saying
I
something?
think this car sticker on the side which said this car sticker on the side which said intercooler turbo for some reason, which confused me to another level. Uh,
Correct. I agree with the
But
same
yeah,
thing.
this
I
was like
had
a
the
regular
same doubt when I
sighting
was
on
a
the set.
kid.
Yeah,
And
I
also
was like, what
remember
is it?
the
I still
Pajero
don't know
had a
what's
lot of
happening.
bizarre colors. The car had a lot of bizarre colors. It was yellow and silver. There was red and white, and there was gray and white and black as a combination. So
I
that's
think this is
great.
like one of the few cars which
So
came with like a two-tone paint job everywhere, right?
correct, everywhere. But
It's
like you
like
mentioned, I think this is gonna be like a solid, well-built first car. Like it could be a crazy, you could go everywhere with it. So nothing to care about.
you can take your friends, you can ball out, you can look like you're gonna kill people. It's all in one.
Absolutely. I agree. Okay, so on to the second car. I think this car is pretty personal to me because this was the first sedan that I actually drove and owned, if I may say so, if I may put in that words. This is a 2008 Ford Fiesta petrol. Everyone looks at the 1.6S as the holy grail, the blue one with the body kit and the spoiler. But what people miss out is the Ford Fiesta had the comfort line, if you may call so. It's called the 1.6 SXI. The car had a beautiful 1600cc petrol engine, fantastic Duratec engine, and it used to sound amazing, to be honest. It was one of the best sounding petrol engines back in the day. And about the Ford, what I personally loved about this car is this car had a fantastic steering for that price point, and the gearbox was very amazing. I mean, it had butter smooth shifts. It is not the short shifter type that you see in the Swift, but it slots in well. There's a good feedback from everywhere. Of course, being any Ford car, it wasn't too hard on the suspension. It was little soft, but much better than the Icon. But this is a car which I particularly loved, and you can find a good one for anywhere between 1.8 to 2.5 lakhs. And we found one for 2 lakh 45,000. So, what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, so one happy little thought. It's done 93,000 kilometers. So it's making its way towards my side of cars, which are usually 1.5 lakhs long ago. So that's one good thing I like. And another one was I just want to know, is it NA or turbo?
It is an NA car. Yeah, max to max, what one can do is
Okay.
get a good exhaust system for the car, and I think that's about it. You won't get any gains, but this car definitely had just sufficient amount of power. It could do 140, 150 kilometers per hour with ease, with nothing at all, and haul luggage. Also to mention is we gotta give a shout out to one particular car in the country which is by owned by Aditya Bedre. He has a fantastic blue color
Insane.
turbocharged Fiesta. So you know, if you buy this first car and you want to get a money pit, you know what to do with this car. So that's a great baseline for a project car.
So I think Aditya's car makes an insane amount of power, if I'm not wrong, about almost 300 horse or something like that to the wheels.
Absolutely.
Which is honestly like lot stage two, stage three Laura territory. Stage two, three, yeah, stage two, three Laura territory, which is pretty insane. So that car's, I think it's turbocharged aftermarket. I don't think it's not. It's an NA car from factory. So that's an insane build, and like other people should totally do it. I think it'll be a really fun car.
Absolutely. Aditya,
Plus, it's a manual.
it's a manual. The engine was completely rebuilt, a good turbo kit, and like you said, it's crazy amounts of power at 300 odd to the wheels. And if I'm not wrong, the build took quite a bit of amount because I read on an Evo article that the cost of the build that Aditya had gone through is 16 to 17 lakhs over the donor car. So that shows the amount of work is done on the car. That is something else. But if any of the listeners want to understand, this is the money pit that you can get into. So let's look at the next car that Adit has on
Okay.
today's show.
So since we're going into the 1 lakh kilometer area, let's talk about the S350 that I have on my list. It's a 2001 S350.
Smoking sour from the heights to stay calm. Drop bombs on the track, nothing but straight napalm. Mixed with static, it turns to an A-bomb. Sticking with the method like Redman and Raekwon. Another verse for you critics to hate on. Sitting shotgun, simply trying to stay calm. Jeff Gordon on the mic, the track's what I race on. The beats, my cutting board, use it to cut steak on. To be a whack rapper, you couldn't pay me. You call yourself crazy, well then I'm the 1999 Slim Shady.
Wow.
One's done 80,000 kilometers, which is by a normal car, that's okay, it doesn't really matter. But it's an S350 with air suspension. That's all I have to say. I can almost guarantee that it's gonna fail. I can guarantee it's gonna look like a bagged car, but it's an S-Class and a not far away S-Class. It's a pretty recent S-Class. It's the last generation. It's just it's a little old. That's it. It's an S-Class for 4,75,000. That's a bargain. That's like the most luxurious car you're gonna get in that price range. And I personally sat in a couple of like friends' cars, and they're insanely comfortable. They're like sofas on wheels.
And imagine you rolling up to college in an S-Class and that's been kept well. That is quite a baller thing if you know about that.
And the
You
interiors
can be
on
there.
this look surprisingly clean.
I'm really surprised with the price point that this car is on sale for. I am really surprised because the interiors look absolutely clean. It doesn't look like it's almost a 19 to 20-year-old car. It doesn't look like that one bit. But what
For
do you
sure.
think about the price point?
So I actually think I've seen a couple of cars around this range for this generation of S-Class, and I've always thought they were bargains. But the mess up with buying an S-Class from this era would be like, your maintenance would probably cost the same as the car within the first year. So this is my type of car. It's the money pit. And it's perfect. I love it. I would black it out, get some baller wheels, get tint that's definitely going to get me stopped, play rap music all day long, and just chill.
I would agree. I think that's the perfect way to look at it. But I must definitely say it might require quite a amount of money to get it in an absolutely running condition. But I'm sure there are
100%.
more than enough third-party garages in Bangalore or any metro city in India that can get the parts for this in a jiffy. It shouldn't be a
For sure.
problem.
Yeah. And there's enough of these
Wow.
stolen. I've heard there's so many of these abandoned and stolen all over the country that all the chor bazaars, as they're called, they all have like at least four, or five headlights lying around. And I've seen them like stacks of like parts of these just lying around in a bunch of places. So
Wow.
shouldn't be an issue.
It must be something where someone just abandoned the old S-Class. Like probably he's run out of money to pay for the maintenance bills and he just abandoned the car. You never know.
Yeah, fair.
Well, that was this week's OLX Find of the Week, and thank you guys for listening in, and goodbye.